Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hi and welcome to episode 199 of the English with Kirsty podcast. Today I have another interview for you. I'm speaking with Carol, and Carol shares lots of tips and ideas about brain training and ways in which we can learn vocabulary and retain information, retain new words if you're learning another language. And she also tells us about the app that she's developing. So I hope you enjoy our interview, and I hope that you benefit from the tips that Carol shared, and that you'll be able to use some of them and that they'll help you when you're trying to learn and retain new information. Hi, Carol. It's great to have you here. Thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thanks to you. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, it's great to see you again. And well, I know what you do. Maybe you can start by telling the audience who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Carol Constant. And I worked many years in corporate and like for top companies like Ford. But what my real vocation is teaching. So I spent 10 years in Australia, and there I was a course coordinator and course creator at colleges. And then when I came back to Europe, I created my own company that is called Bemensa. So, yes.
Yeah, and what do you do? What does your company do?
Yeah, so my company, what I do is training. So I do training in two different areas. So pre-employment and Mensa test preparation, and that's individual training. And I also do business talent development workshops on skills like, for example, problem solving and creative thinking. And there's one more thing, which is that I'm working on an app that hopefully will be launched next month.
So for anyone listening in the future, that will be in July 2022.
Yes.
22.
Yes, okay. That's what we're aiming for, yes.
That sounds exciting. And what will the app do?
Oh, it's about the same idea. So it's brain training, test preparation for pre-employment, new graduates, or just for people who want to improve their brain fitness. Same as you go to a gym, but in this case with an app.
It's not for your body, it's for your mind, for your brain.
Yes.
Okay, no, that sounds really good. Good luck with that, and I hope it all goes well. And I know that you speak multiple languages. How many languages do you speak?
6.
6. Oh, wow. Okay. And what do you think are some of the benefits of that for you personally and within your business?
Well, I love learning languages. I've been always attracted to other languages and other cultures. And then the benefits that I see is, well, the obvious one that most people study a language for career opportunities. But also what I see is that there are many health benefits to it. So on the brain, for example, which is the area, yes, that I know the most. So because of the work involved in switching from one language to the other, this has a lot of real benefits for your brain. Yes, for example, it will improve your verbal working memory. And there are many studies about, for example, your brain health. Let's say, if we are talking, for example, about Alzheimer's, for example. So brain studies have shown that bilingual people's brains function better and for longer after developing the disease, or in case of people that have some kind of brain injury, they will also recover more quickly.
That's interesting. I think it's also a reason why it's never too late to start. You know, I'm an adult and I started learning a language a year ago, a new one. And I think people sometimes think, oh no, I can't do that because I didn't do it at school. But actually, this is the time when you're an adult to do it as well, because you're doing yourself a favor, doing something good for your brain as well as the other benefits that come with it.
Yeah, I actually spoke to a teacher, because I have these kind of conversations with people about the benefits of different activities for your brain. And she was telling me she teaches Spanish in the Czech Republic, and doctors are sending her people who retired to learn Spanish as a brain exercise.
Yeah, I can believe that, because it's good to keep, and I think as well the social aspects too. Like for me, I found new friends as well, so it's good for my brain, but it's also, you know, in terms of socially, it's good to meet new people and to make new connections and to find new friendships.
Correct. Yes, exactly. So it has many benefits. Everybody should be compulsory. Yeah. So if you ask me, for example, you were asking about the benefits, and so the benefits for your brain is that you will have improved memory and better problem solving and critical thinking, even concentration, and of course listening skills, because this is something that you need when you are studying a language. You really need to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that gets neglected sometimes, because like in the test that people do, it's, you know, listen to something and then answer questions about it, but listening is about more than that. It's about being able to function well in a conversation, and to summarize information, but not to know exactly what time the train is going, but to, you know, to understand somebody's thoughts about something, or the arguments, and not just to get that one piece of information. I think we could do a lot more to help students to develop better listening skills. But yeah, that's probably another topic. And I think a lot of the people that listen to the podcast already are interested in languages and learning another language. But one of the problems that people often talk to me about is retaining the information. So learning new vocabulary and remembering it long term, not just for a test the next day, but to actually be able to use that vocabulary in the future and to remember the new words. Given the work that you do with brain training, do you have any tips for people about what strategies they could try?
Yes, I do, because I've trained, thousands of students, and from really bright students to those who have learning disabilities. And what I have seen in my own experience is that there is one common denominator. If you want to score high in a test, or you want to have better memory, and it is notes, your notes, what you actually use when you are studying. So there are other factors, obviously, but the main one will be this notes taking. Yes. So if you want to be more efficient, studying more in less time, you need to have very clear notes that will help you study. So if you want me to explain you a bit more about it, yes?
Yeah, do. That's interesting.
Okay, perfect. So I call it the 3 C's. So it's the, let's say, constant combination. It is clarity, contrast, and color. And what's that? Why is so important? Well, because our brains are built to respond to color and contrast. If you think, for example, of flowers, fruit, birds, and even makeup, yes? So what is makeup for? Well, to make you more attractive, more memorable. So we need to do the same with our notes. Yeah, they cannot be just a boring page, that one page looks the same after the next one, yes? So your brain disconnects. You are reading and you don't even remember what you were reading. That happens to many people. So there are 3 very important steps. The step number 1 is the clarity, because your brain can do 2 things at the same time, yes, but it cannot be effective at both. So either you are memorizing or you are deciphering. So you cannot be like, oh, is it done? Is it then? They need to be very tidy and clear notes. Yes, so that'll be step number 1. Then you have step number 2, which is the contrast. What I was saying just before, the page cannot look all the same from top to bottom. It needs to have very clear headlines, paragraphs, include examples. So you need to use, same as you use pauses when you speak, you need to use empty spaces. Let's say there needs to be a difference. And then step number 3 will be colors. So you need to use these contrasts and colors. How? Well, underlining, circling words, using square boxes, frames to put important things inside them, use arrows, use highlighters of different colors. But same as when you do your makeup, you don't put colors everywhere on your face. You just need to highlight maybe 2 on each page, 2, 3, just to focus your attention on it. And this will bring you the best results.
I think this is why it's important. It has to be your notes. You can't work with someone else's notes, because you will write your notes in a way that works for you. And you need to know what's important to you. You need to know which words you want to learn. That's why I sometimes question the usefulness of people just learning like a bunch of words that they're never going to use again, because they're not going to remember those. You need to find the words that you need and to write them down and to make your notes in a way that's going to really make sense for you, and to take the time to do that rather than just to rush through it. So to think about what helps you, and you know yourself better than anyone else. Like, everybody's different, and there'll be some people that can't do one of these steps. Like I can't use color, but then at least I know how. When I write my notes, I usually write quite comprehensive notes, but I organize them in a way that makes sense for me. And that's the same with everybody else. Everybody needs to know what works for them, and to enjoy it as well. Like, if you want to make it look like, I don't know, choose colors that you like, or do things find some nice stationery to write your notes on, or to make it something that you're going to enjoy doing, rather than just I have to learn these new words. Because I think sometimes people can see it as a bit of a chore, whereas it could be an exercise that's a bit more enjoyable.
Yes, exactly. And as you say, it's just a matter of trial and error. So you try what works for you, what doesn't, depending on your preferences. So some people, for example, they don't like colors so much, but they would use more circling words and underline, circling the endings. For example, if you are learning some new verbs, the endings. So you just need to try and see what works better for you. Yeah.
And things that make sense for you, or things that you find difficult. Maybe spend a bit more time on the things that you know you're going to struggle with a bit more, and vary it as well. Try and, if you're doing one thing one day, maybe try and learn some different vocabulary another day, so that you're not just going over the same thing. And
yes. And here I was talking more about your notes, but of course there are more things. For example, that you read aloud what you are studying, even if it's just keywords, but put it into words, because that's the most difficult part. And everybody who's learning a language, they know that the most difficult is when you have to actually talk. You can read and write, but then talking, because there are different areas of your brain involved in talking. So that's why it's a very good idea when you're studying, just say some of the words and even pretend to explain it to someone else.
Yeah, I've got a big German Shepherd puppy. It's not real, it's for children, in my office. And sometimes I tell him, because, or if you've got a real animal, dog or cat, it's even better. But yeah, I think it's important. I didn't know that it was a different part of your brain, but I do know that sometimes when you're using a new language, it takes time to get used to listening to your own voice speaking the other language, because it feels a bit strange at the beginning, or maybe you hesitate and you don't like the sound of it not being very confident. I certainly have this and still have this sometimes, but it's important to hear yourself learn speaking the other language, because then it won't feel so strange when you really are using that other language to speak with other real people.
Yes, that's very true. Yes, exactly. Even to me, I've been talking in English for many years. I've been in front of 200 people speaking in English, and still right now I'm listening to myself and I'm saying, I made a mistake. I don't like the way I pronounce this. But it will happen your whole life. But you just have to get used to you, as you say, speaking in these different languages.
Because other people aren't thinking about that. Like, if you're at a meeting, they're probably thinking about what they're going to say. They're not thinking, she made a mistake. It's, everybody's focusing on themselves most of the time.
Yes.
And that's normal, and especially for people who do speak more than one language, it's normal, normal experience. But yeah, especially at the beginning. But you're right, it's still it still happens when you've been speaking a language for a while. Okay,
Yeah.
so the main takeaway here is to have good notes, to make it easy to find what you're looking for, with good structure, make things stand out, either using colors or underlining things or highlighting things in some way. And I guess be relevant as well. That comes under the clarity, you know, if you're, make sure you know what you want to learn, because then it'll be much easier to learn it if you're clear about what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Perfect. I can see you're a great teacher. Yes. Perfect summary.
So you mentioned your app. Are you working on any other new projects at the moment, or is there anything that you want to share?
Well, mainly I'm working on the app. I'm also working on some Udemy courses at this moment, but the app is what's taking most of my time. So yes, so that will be the app. So we will be launching it in Apple and Google Play, and at this moment I'm working on all the different, different bits and pieces that need to be ready for the launch. So the app is mainly what I do. So this brain training, and what I do is mainly they are like puzzles, and I'm building all these puzzles and all the different games to make it more attractive. So mainly is what I'm doing, because many people will use it just because they like puzzles, or they like to be, to keep sharp your brain. But some of the people, they really need it for work, because they, for example, new graduates, they just finished studying for many years, and then they go to this recruitment process, to find a job in a good company. And if they don't pass this kind of pre-employment test, they will not even get to an interview. So it's really important for them, and that's why, well, I'm hoping that this will make a difference for many people.
Okay, so if the app isn't ready when the podcast goes live, if I link to your website, will people then be able to find the app from your website once it's available as well?
Yes, for sure. On my website, I hope I will have everything there, all updated information, and yes, they can find what I'm doing in my app, in my website.
Okay, so I'll add the link to your website to your page with the podcast episode. Are there any other places we can find you? Social media? Do you have a preferred social media site?
Yes, I do have. My main platform will be Instagram. So Instagram will be, I publish also, I post some articles there about brain health and brain fitness, and obviously all these tests, and I have some funny short videos there as well. And also on LinkedIn, if anybody wants to contact me over there, I'm happy to as well.
Okay, well, I'll put all of those links onto your page so that people can find out more about you and more about what you do. And I'd like to thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us and for giving us some tips. And it's been great talking with you. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast, where you'll find information about the individual episodes.